That's been one of the interesting evolutions in UTVs, I think, is like, first off, you don't get more horsepower. So everything you add to it is technically a disadvantage in weight. Then you're dealing with, to your point, the duty cycle. Like, is it going to last the entire race? Will it last a season? What is the duty cycle of that part? Yeah, and of course, it's going to change, because if you go do the Mint 400, it might shorten that, right? I've seen both extremities of guys overbuilding UTVs and looking at it going, that's a beautiful car, but it's basically a mini class 1 car. And now you're at a weight disadvantage over everybody else. But then you see guys like Blurton, and his car is pretty stock. And yes, he is replacing parts after every race, but his goal was always like, hey, I want to keep it light and not overbuild it, because there's only so much horsepower we get, and that's it.
Yeah, the biggest problem we find is the weight, especially. The heavier the car gets, it's easier to tune the shocks for me on a car that's heavier than one that's lighter. It's just less sensitive, the heavier car. But then you start having weird failures, like breaking stuff that it's like, well, I didn't even feel I hit that bump or that rock, but it tore up the shock or did something back there. And it's like, wow, once you overbuild it, then you might have to overbuild a whole bunch of other stuff to keep up with it. So it's almost, you're just chasing your tail. So basically it's trying to find that optimum setup. And with like the Maverick R, the goal is to have to keep it under 3,000 pounds. Anytime over 3,000 pounds, we see a lot of stuff showing up really quickly, especially if it's built on a stock chassis. The car wasn't made to, comes at 2,400 pounds. It wasn't made to have 700 pounds more stuff on it. And then you got to add, a bunch more power to make it the same, to make it feel the same as it did before. So it's just a catch-22. I mean, I try to set up my cars as simple and use as many stock components as I can. And I want to be able to drive it wide open with the stock tune everywhere. Right. And if I can do that, I can usually beat most of the guys, even with a bunch of power, because they're just tearing up more parts.
Yeah.